Alright, in this video I pretty much want to do a excuse me, a little bit of a discussion about the problem of verisimilitude in the philosophy of science. So, I guess before I get into it, a couple things to be reading. First of all, we have Karl Popper, his Logic of Scientific Discovery, which was published in 1935. In that book, The Logic of Scientific Discovery, there is no real talk of this problem. But then he has a book which was published in 1975, maybe. 70 something. And then it was in this book that this was 62. It was in this book, this is called Conjectures and Refutations, where Popper kind of started bringing up this problem of verisimilitude. So we have that one, and what is talked about a little bit in this book is the methodology of scientific research programs by Lakatos. In this book, which is basically like a collection of his papers, a few of these papers kind of discuss a lot about Popper's methodology, and that this is also very important for this issue. So, following Popper, we have people in the 70s who were kind of talking about this. We first of all have David Miller, a great paper here, Popper's qualitative theory of verisimilitude. Let's see here. The truth likeness of truth likeness by Miller. Verisimilitude redeflated. And then verisimilitude redefined, which is by Pavel Tichy. Now, the whole thing is that Miller tries to kind of get at how to solve this problem as to whether the truth of certain things of certain statements can be compared. So let's get to this topic. Alright, so this is Proposal Diamond, which is in David Miller's paper. David Miller is pretty much a really important one to read in the later philosophy of science, following, in like the 70s and following. What is the problem of verisimilitude? There's the problem of truth likeness. Now, truth likeness, let's say we have two statements, and we want to compare them as to their truth or falsity. That's the whole issue, is that. Now, it's a logical problem. I'm going to get too wide because of these things here. So we can have either two true statements and then compare the truth and falsity between them, or we can have a true and a false statement and compare the truth and falsity between them, or we can have two false statements and compare the truth and falsity between them. So the problem of verisimilitude is the issue of whether we can compare truth or falsity between two concepts. Now, Popper was a scientific realist, which means to be a scientific realist is to believe that there is some kind of scientific truth or some kind of scientific real world that we can get at and kind of try to figure out and try to understand. There's some kind of truth to be gotten at, and that's what Popper argued. Now I have videos on Popper's stuff like his problem of induction, his problem of demarcation, and his falsifiability and corroboration stuff. Now, Popper's whole thing was that we can't prove theories. We can't confirm theories. We don't do things by verifiability, but we do things by falsifiability. We don't verify or confirm a prediction, but we falsify them. All that science is making predictions, falsifying them, and continuing to falsify. Now, people like Hillary Putnam argue against him by saying that by saying things like Popper's idea of corroboration doesn't consider the future, and there's lots of other things that Putnam argues against Popper with. Now, I'm writing a writing sample which is about Popper's methodology, and I'm trying to basically defend Popper against this. So we first have scientific realism, scientific optimism, which is that I forget what optimism is, but the whole thing. We also have fallibilism, and now fallibilism is that our scientific process of growing scientific knowledge, our epistemology, our way of getting towards this is fallible, and our any epistemological belief system that we have is fallible. We're not going to try and be like Descartes, who thinks that we should try to put as a foundation all the things that are not doubtable, and try to make an infallible epistemology. Now, for Popper, we can get at scientific knowledge to an extent through falsification and falsifiability and corroboration, and using some sort of methodological decision in order to get there. And how methodology is a bunch of conventions in order to get somewhere. Now, the reason why this is a problem, I'm trying to get to the main reason why this is an issue. The whole thing is, it's a logical problem that, for Popper, that we are doing science by falsifying things, by proving or by showing certain predictions and hypotheses to be false. That is a logical problem, in that how can we measure truth content or truth likeness of certain things when they're only false? Because we're not going to do things by verifiability, and we're not going to have an infallibilist epistemology. So we understand that knowledge is fallible, and we understand that that verifiability and confirmation doesn't really work, because we can't prove theories. We can't prove theories because that has just been very difficult for people. We've seen that in people like Carnap and Schlick in the logical positivists and all that. So Popper is against the verifiability thing and all the confirmation and being able to positively prove a theory, and he was just kind of arguing that the business of science is negative, and it's about falsifying things. And that's a problem with verisimilitude, because how can we measure the truth of a certain prediction or hypothesis if we are trying to falsify everything? That's the main problem. So, But the whole thing with this is, with the problem of verisimilitude, is we have to come up with a way in which we can measure truth or falsity. Now, this is Proposal Diamond, which is from the article by David Miller, the Popper's qualitative theory of verisimilitude. Now, CT represents content, and CTT subscript T represents truth content, and CT subscript F represents falsity content. What Miller does, what Miller does in this paper is he kind of goes via this diamond proposal and tries to show. He shows in the end that we can only compare things not between truth and falsity, but only between true and true. Not where we can't compare things by whether between a statement that is true and a statement that is false, but we can only compare things that are true, and we can't. That's the only way that there is comparability between predictions. So what is this diamond proposal? So I'm going to read this. Assuming that the truth content and the falsity content of two theories, T1 and T2, are comparable, we can say that T2 is more closely similar to the truth, or corresponds better to the facts than T1. If and only if either A, the truth content but not the falsity content of T2 exceeds that of T1, or B, the falsity content, CTF, of T1, but not its true content, exceeds that of T2. So we have kind of a thing where we have, or that the truth and falsity content of T1 and T2 theories are comparable, and T2 is more truth-like than T1, if and only if these two things. If one, either truth content exceeds that of falsity content, or falsity content exceeds that of truth content, via these two things. So we're trying to look at things via which is bigger, the truth content or the falsity content. And we are more likely to uphold a certain theory or proposition or hypothesis if there's more of this and less of this. Okay, now Miller, as well as Tichy and Popper, talk about the few different kinds of ways that we could compare verisimilitude or truth-likeness. Now, verisimilitude is you could also just say truth-likeness. Those two things, you can use those two interchangeably. The whole thing, we're looking for some sort of comparability principle between truth and falsity. Now I kind of have an answer to this now. That I'm going to put in my writing sample in defense of Popper. But I'll get to that in a little bit. It's kind of coming from Carnap's article, The Empiricism of Semantics and Ontology. Now I have a video about that I made last week. So, first we have likeness. We are emphasizing the truth likeness, the likeness part of truth likeness. Now, first of all, the problem of verisimilitude isn't about vagueness, nor is it about probability. It's about trying to find some sort of standard of comparability between two theories or propositions or hypotheses as to which one is more close or more similar to the truth, also possibly via the correspondence theory of truth, that corresponds more to the facts or corresponds more to the truth. So these three things, likeness, content, and consequence, are the three possible ways in which you could create a standard of comparability between things. Likeness, that's obviously pretty obvious. Now, this is my personal favorite. I do like emphasizing the likeness because I don't think that it's that easy or wieldy to measure truth content or truth consequence. Now, consequence, that's something I need to research more into that, but to research the consequences, to research more into Pavel Tichy, and Tichy is something that I'll get to in a bit. So we are having a standard of comparability between propositions based upon how much they are like the truth or similar to the truth. Now, this is my personal favorite right there. Okay, next we have content. Miller and Popper do it by content, or the symbol for CT subscript T, or CT subscript F. Sorry for my bad handwriting. This is Miller. This diamond proposal. This is Miller's, and he kind of goes about in this paper based upon this, and he does look at this as being bad and blamable, and he concludes that only true propositions are comparable. Thus, we don't have the ability of comparing true propositions with false ones, or false ones with false ones. And he does that by showing, by kind of, I guess he does it in a very logical, set theoretic way. And I want to kind of explain that. He kind of shows how, if how it kind of does it like A's unity with all true propositions is a subset and possibly equal to B and its unity with all true propositions, and kind of tries to think of this as true and that as false, and tries to figure this whole thing out, and inevitably it goes to this whole interderivability relation, and that's kind of a very complex thing. I think it's worth reading if you are interested in this problem. If you read it hard enough and kind of try to get it, all this stuff does come to make sense. Yeah, he does kind of talk about weak drivability and drivability and interdrivability, and that's he talks about qualitative verisimilitude, or to show how truth content depends on the increase in content. The other is to provide an illustration of our conclusion, a true system B from which we can derive the truth content of a false system A. And he talks about things, a certain T, a certain set of all true propositions being unaxiomatizable, and all that stuff. It's very no two distinct axiomatizable theories may be compared for verisimilitude unless they are both true. Now that's from Corollary 1, which and also Theorem 5. But that's a lot of stuff going on. I'm trying to figure out how to talk about that in my paper. So content. I'm not sure how we can really do it by this. I personally do not like this. I think it's I don't think that we can compare things this way. Personally, I think that every single proposition is false, and that we can only measure false and false ones, and I'll get to that in a little bit. Okay, so there's content, and then there's consequence. Now, Pavel Tichy is using a logical system of deductive. He's using a logical deductive system, which is from the truth theory, or the truth theory of Alfred Tarski. And what he's doing there is he creates a logical deductive system, and it creates a lattice of deductive consequences, and Tichy uses Tarski's little truth theory via that language L, that language of deductive systems L, to look at verisimilitude as consequence, the consequence of truth and consequence of falsity. So, personally, I think that there's only false propositions, and the only true propositions in the world are the ones that are established analytic. But that's my personal opinion. Hopefully I've kind of gone into this enough for you. If you want me to go more into Miller's logical refutation of this, I can, but I think it's very long. It's very lengthy and kind of difficult. But if you would like me to, I will. If you would like me to get into that, I certainly will. If you have any questions, or if you think I've left something out, please comment below. I love to hear from you and discuss with you. Also, if you have a question or any kind of thing you want to say that is constructive, please comment below. Because whenever you comment, I get an email. If your comment is constructive, then I will always reply. So, thank you.